I think it's rolling. Hi everybody and welcome back to our weekly live stream. My name is Alicia and this week we are going to talk about how to make basic comparisons. This week we are going to talk about making comparisons with adjectives and with nouns. This will be a super good lesson for beginners, I think. But of course, I hope we can also practice some everyday grammar as well, just some basic grammar. So it will be a good chance to review. So as you join, if you're watching live, please make sure to like and share the video. Give it a thumbs up. That would be super cool so other people can find the lesson. And of course, say hi in the chat too. A couple quick announcements as always. First thing first, there is free stuff for you from the link below the video. I'm pointing to this banner on the screen. This free PDF cheat sheet banner. You can pick up, download a bunch of these to work on your vocabulary and phrases, basic questions, everyday questions, that kind of thing. You can find a whole bunch of different topics. For example, school-related topics. There's some questions and phrases on the back of that. Talking online is another popular one too. So check those out if you need to practice some vocabulary. There's a lot of stuff that you can review there. Also, as always, if you have questions for me, please send them to me for our weekly Q&A series, Ask Alicia, where you can send me your questions and then I will maybe answer them. So this is a screenshot from it. Also, many of you have been asking lately in chats about like where to find me. You can find me, follow me on Instagram from this account. There's a link in the YouTube description as well. So check that out too. But send your questions for this series. This is a screenshot, an old screenshot from the series. If you have grammar questions, vocabulary questions, like what's the difference between this and that, send those to me at englishclass101.com/ask-Alicia. All right, today's lesson is about basic comparisons. I'm going to speak a little bit more slowly now. So today's lesson boards look like this. We are going to practice nouns and adjectives. So we're going to begin today's lesson with nouns, how to make basic comparisons with nouns, then short adjectives, excuse me, and then long adjectives. So today's lesson, of course, we'll have three groups of content that we will cover. Okay, I see everything is rolling now. Hi everybody, welcome. I see YouTube is alive and well. Great. Hello Yash, Bhavna, Amanda, Kanwaljit, Lizzie. Great. All right, there are lots of familiar faces and some new faces. If you're new, say hi. I always see the same people every week. I appreciate that. I always want to see some new people too, though. Facebook, where are you, Facebook? I'm coming to say hello to you now, Facebook. Facebook, hi, Kuti, Ange, hello, Luder, Jojo, Ahmed, hello, everybody. Minoldis, hello, thank you, that's very nice. All right, everybody's here. Let's get rolling. Let's start with countable nouns today. Countable nouns. Where's my pen? Okay, so we're going to begin today's lesson with countable nouns and uncountable nouns. I am not going to talk in today's lesson about the details of countable nouns and uncountable nouns. If you want some details about countable and uncountable nouns, I have some videos on the English Class YouTube channel, so check those out. I'll put a link in the YouTube description after today's lesson, so you can check that out. Okay, let's go. Good, lots of people are saying hi, new people. Ashwani, great. Shiva, hello, good. Everybody who is new is now saying hello. Fantastic, thank you, new people. Wow, lots of new people are saying hi. Thank you, that's cool. Okay, let's start talking about making comparisons with nouns. So I want to cover two groups. Countable nouns, a quick review. A countable noun is a noun we can count with 1, 2, 3. Like we add an S to the end of the noun to make it countable, like markers or teachers or computers and so on, phones. These are countable nouns. This is important when we're making comparisons and in other situations too. These are the patterns we use to make comparisons with countable nouns, the very basic patterns. So I'll go through these examples and these patterns today, but please in the chat or in the comments, if you're not watching live, send me your example sentences. If you're watching live, I will try to check you live. There's a lot that come in though. So let's review. We use more plus plural noun. When I say plural noun here, I mean the noun plus s. So for example, if it's marker, I use markers. Plural means more than one, yeah? So more markers than, for example. If I want to express a comparison where one thing, there is not like fewer, so the quantity is smaller of one thing than another thing, I use fewer with countable nouns. This point right here, many native speakers make mistakes with this. They use less with countable nouns. Please use fewer. So for example, fewer students than me. He has fewer students than me. Okay? So this is a key point for everyone to practice. If you want to express equal amounts of something, so A and B are the same amount, you can use this. As many, plural noun, as. So this as is on both sides, yeah? Like he has as many students as me. So this expresses equal levels. Finally, this last pattern here, not as many, plural noun, as. Not as many, plural noun, as. This expresses that one thing, the quantity of A, so let's use markers again. Let's say I have, or rather, I think I have an example here. Let's use this one. He doesn't have as many shoes as me, for example. So this is a different way to express I have more shoes than he does. So there are a few, as you can see maybe, there are a few different ways we can express a comparison. We can use a negative, we can use a positive. It's up to you to choose. Let's look at some more examples. This one, oh, it's kind of hard to see the colors, isn't it? I have more books than you. Another key point I notice with learners, many learners do not put this S at the end. Please clearly pronounce and make sure to spell it with the S with your countable nouns, yeah? I have more books than you. We have fewer plants than the neighbor. We have fewer plants than the neighbor. And again, he doesn't have as many shoes as me. Another note, with this negative pattern, this not as many as pattern, this not, when I say not, sometimes you'll see maybe this pattern directly, but this example, the not is here. He does not have. So this not is connected to the verb, yeah? So this is just a basic negative pattern here. Okay. Someone says, I'm trying to make a sentence and I don't know which noun to use. So just think of a noun and think, okay, is this a countable noun or an uncountable noun? Just try. Just try. Start by trying. Okay. I see lots of people on Facebook saying, hello, welcome, good morning, Mr. Alicia. Please use miss. Please use miss for girls. Okay. Other examples, Salma says he has fewer friends than me. Good examples. Yasha says she has more pen. So when you use a countable noun, use the plural form. Pens. Don't forget this S at the end. Okay. All right. Let's continue to uncountable nouns. So uncountable nouns are nouns that we do not count with a number, like we don't say, for example, one time. Well, okay, sorry. When we talk about units of like minutes and hours, time is uncountable, or like air is uncountable. These are things we use units with, smaller units with. Again, I'm not going to talk in detail about these two grammar points. So I'll put a link to this information in the YouTube description. Okay, so when we use uncountable nouns to make comparisons, we use these patterns. More noun than something. So you'll notice this one is the same as the countable form, yeah? So that's easy to remember. However, this one, when you use an uncountable noun and you want to express that there's not as much of something, or the quantity is smaller, we use less. This is different from countable nouns where we use fewer. Fewer countable nouns, less uncountable noun. So less time than, less money than, and so on, but not fewer. Okay? Then, a couple more patterns. To express that two things are equal. As much noun as. So, he has as much time as me, or she has as much money as me. So, this pattern expresses that two amounts are equal. They're equal. They're the same. Okay? And finally, to make a negative, the negative version of this second pattern, not as much noun as something. So my boss does not have as much free time as me, maybe. Okay? So let's look at some example sentences that use this grammar. First one, I have more time than you. Please notice there is no S at the end of this time because time is an uncountable noun. So no S here. Badouin says, Alicia has more hair than me. Good. That's a really funny example. Okay. Next one is, he has less money than his boss. He has less money than his boss. Okay, so again, money, no S at the end of this, because money is uncountable. Okay, another one. I made a kind of creative example sentence here. You have as much bread as the bakery down the street. So this is a situation where you arrive at a friend's house for a party or event. They have lots of bread and you want to make a funny comment. You have as much bread as the bakery down the street means that you and the bakery have equal levels of bread. That sounds kind of funny. So we can use these sorts of comparisons to make creative statements too. So maybe it's not exactly, but we just want to express something creatively. We can do it like this. Okay, some of you are writing some adjective comparisons, which is great. We're going to talk about that later. All right. All right, some other examples. Michelle says, Alicia has more pens than me. Oh, maybe. Okay, good. Nice example sentence. I'm looking for your other example sentences on Facebook. Someone says, what's her name? Anyone know? Yes, my name is Alicia. So, okay, let's go to, Johanna says, is bread uncountable? Yes, bread, we don't say one bread, two breads. We use the counter word loaf for bread. One loaf of bread, two loaves of bread. Again, I will put a link to some videos about countable and uncountable nouns in the description. Okay, let's take a break. Oh, Mafu says, why do we use have with he when he is the third person? Can you give me an example? I don't think I understand the question. Okay, let's go to the break. If you missed it earlier, there is free stuff for you from the link below the video. If you're watching on YouTube, or above the video if you are watching on Facebook, you can download some vocabulary. It's all free. There are some vocabulary, expression, and question PDFs to check out. This one is about family members, and on the back, holidays and various celebrations and so on. So check this out. You can go download all of them. They're all free. So pick up a bunch. You can pick up a bunch. There's a lot of different topics to choose from: pets, hobbies, leisure time, sports, and exercise. I hope we are all exercising and being healthy. So check them out. You need your name and an email address, and you can download them all, print them out, whatever you want to do. So check them out. It would be cool. All right, that's it for the break. Let's go to the next part. I'll show you today's lesson boards. If you want to take a screenshot, please get ready. Here we go. Boom. Okay, so we talked about nouns, how to make basic comparisons with nouns. Now we're going to talk about adjectives. We're going to talk about short adjectives. There are different rules for short and long adjectives. Okay, many of you are asking questions about countable and uncountable nouns. Is this noun countable? Is this noun uncountable? Again, I'm going to put a link in the description for you to check that will hopefully answer your questions. It is a slightly different topic than today's lesson. All right, short adjectives. Let's go. Let's talk about short adjectives. Okay, onward. I don't see other questions. So, here we go. How to make basic comparisons with short adjectives, So, what does short adjective mean? This means an adjective that is one syllable to two syllables, but two-syllable adjectives, for this rule, they end in Y. So this is an important point for this rule, for this comparison rule. What's a syllable? What is a syllable? A syllable is a beat. It's like the beat in a word. So for example, big has one syllable, big. We make one beat when we say the word. Pretty has two syllables, pretty, pretty, two syllables. There are two beats in the word. So this part, this is the rule we use for short adjectives, words that have one syllable, one beat, or they have two syllables and they end in Y. So, how do we make the comparative form with these? The basic way to do it, basically, we use the adjective plus ER. We add ER to the end of the adjective. Okay? If the adjective ends in Y, like pretty, the sound is the same. So pretty is an adjective that ends in Y, this short adjective that ends in Y. We make it prettier, so the ER sound is the same as this rule. However, when we spell the comparative form, the Y at the end of the word changes. We drop the Y and we add IER. The spelling changes. The sound is still. Okay? Then, hard to see, I know. I'm going to read this part. Lastly, if your adjective ends in consonant, vowel, consonant. So vowel, remember, A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y. Those are the vowels. Consonants are the other letters. If your adjective ends in this pattern, like big, consonant, vowel, consonant, double the last consonant. That means put two. Put two of this consonant, the last consonant, and add ER to make bigger. Again, this is spelling. Okay? Finally, if the adjective ends in E, just add R. Okay? So we're going to practice this with a few examples. And of course, please send some in the chat if you're watching live, or send them in the comments too if you're not watching live. So, patterns to use. These are all present tense patterns, is and are. Of course, you can use past tense and so on. So, for today, we're going to focus on very basic patterns. So, for example, A is, or are, comparative form than B. So, a reminder, in this practice, we are using adjectives. This is different from the first part of the practice today. So, A is a noun and B is a noun. Here, we want to practice making the comparative form of an adjective. So, you are funnier than me, for example. My brother is funnier than me, for example. Comparative form. Some points to note though. If you use this pattern or this pattern, this negative one. A is not as adjective as B, or A is as adjective as B. There's no change to this adjective. We do not need to use the comparative form here. So this pattern, for example, my brother is not as funny as me. This uses the basic form. So my brother is not as funnier as me is incorrect. Incorrect. Do not change your adjective in the negative pattern. And in this one, to express the two things are equal, A is as adjective as B. Okay, so let's look at some examples. First one, gelato is tastier than ice cream. My personal opinion. Gelato is tastier than ice cream. My adjective here is tasty. Tasty ends in Y, so I follow this rule right here. Tastier than ice cream. So I want to express this thing is, in my opinion, better than ice cream. Then another one, Seattle is not as big as Tokyo. Seattle is not as big as Tokyo, so city size. In this sentence, I use this negative form, so I use the basic adjective. Seattle, A, is not as big as Tokyo. No change to this adjective, okay? All right, someone says tastier. So tastier is coming from the adjective tasty, something that is tasty. Tasty is a casual way to say delicious, delicious. Okay, some examples are coming. Good. I'm looking for short adjectives. Nahora says, I'm happier than my sister. Good job, nice one. Kanwaljit says, he is taller than me, but I'm smarter than him. Nice example. Okay. Someone says, Alicia is richer than me. Ha, interesting. Okay, Labkan says, my son is taller than me. Good examples, everybody. Okay. Someone says, okay, there's a good example. You need to write more bigger. You need to write bigger. So bigger is the comparative form. More bigger is incorrect. Also, this is the size I have. So if I write bigger, we cannot study all the grammar points. So, okay, let's go. Oh, some other questions. What's gelato? Yeah, gelato is like Italian. I think it's from Italy originally. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, but it's made with a heavy cream, I think, instead of milk. Yeah. Okay, I have to continue to the last point. So this is short adjectives, short adjectives. We are going to finish today with long adjectives. So real quickly, a short break. If you missed it earlier, there's free stuff for you below the video. If you're watching on YouTube, above the video. If you're watching on Facebook, I showed you a bunch of these already. Free PDF vocabulary sheets to download, so check them out if you have not. You can find, like, I think there's like 20, I don't know, there's a lot now. So please just go look at them and download the ones that you want to get. Okay, let's go to the last part of today's lesson. I'm going to share the lesson boards again if you want to take a screenshot, so please get ready. Here we go. Okay, so nouns was part 1. We practiced short adjectives. Now we are going to practice long adjectives. Long adjectives. So again, we need to consider syllables, the beats in a word. Syllables, yeah. Okay, let's go. So the final part of today's lesson is about these long adjectives. So again, 2 syllables or more. 2 syllables, the beats of a word, yeah? So for example, beautiful, beautiful has 3 beats, or expensive has 3 beats. These are long adjectives. We use this rule for long adjectives. All right, let's go to making the comparative form. We use more adjective than, so more beautiful than, more expensive than, less adjective than, so less beautiful than, or less exciting than, as adjective as, so this expresses equal. Two things are equal. That movie is as exciting as the other movie. And a negative form. Not as, adjective, as. So maybe you'll notice for this one, we don't have to change the adjective. We don't have to change the spelling, which is great, right? But we need to consider these parts and some common mistakes I see with learners are these parts at the end. Than and than with these two. More something than, less something than. And with these two, as at the end. As to express equality, and something that is not equal uses this as pattern. Okay, let's go to examples then. I'm checking for your questions and your comments. I'll try to check live. Okay, let's look at some examples now. Action movies are more exciting than romance movies. Action movies are more exciting than romance movies. So, more exciting. Here's my adjective. No change to the adjective. So not more excitinger, but more exciting. More exciting. And another point, movies. This is a countable noun, yeah? Action movies are. So not action movie is. Incorrect. Incorrect. If you want to talk about one action movie only, that action movie is more exciting than the other action movie. That's correct. This sentence is a general statement about all action movies. Action movies, generally, are more exciting than romance movies. Okay? Another one. My phone bill this month is less expensive than my bill last month. My phone bill this month is less expensive than my bill last month. Okay, so a comparison using less. Again, no change to expensive here. All right, other examples. Oh, Lakan, be careful on Facebook. My car is more expensive than my friend's. Friend apostrophe S. If you use my car is more expensive than my friend, with no apostrophe S, it means the price of your car and the price of your friend. You don't want to compare the price of your friend. Your friend has no price. So, my friend's car. Okay? All right, I don't see other examples. Her computer is more expensive than yours, says Nito. Good examples. Okay, one more. The bus today was not as crowded as the bus yesterday. So again, the bus today was not as crowded as the bus yesterday. At native speed, I would say the bus today wasn't as crowded as the bus yesterday. We reduce these two. The bus today wasn't as crowded as the bus yesterday. So crowded is my adjective, meaning lots and lots of people. Okay? Cool. I'm looking for your examples. I do not see. Let's see. Jermaine says, my cable bill this month is more expensive than last month. Okay. So when you want to compare like those time period ones, this month or this week or last week, it's sometimes, if it's not clear, it's a good idea to mention the time period. So my bill this month or my bill this week was more expensive than last week, for example. Okay. Shima says, Alicia, is crazy used as a long or short adjective? Crazy follows the short adjective rule. So crazy is 2 syllables, ends in Y. So please use the short adjective rule. So he is crazier than she is. Okay. Johannes says, old cars are more aesthetic than modern cars. Very cool. Good, good, good. Bhavna says, today's, like apostrophe S, live stream isn't as crowded as. Don't forget this as here. Oh, sorry, this one, the negative form. Not as crowded, as regular live streams. Okay. Joel Luis Hernandez says, wasn't or wasn't. Oh, the apostrophe. Apostrophe comes between N and T. Wasn't So in this one, was not as crowded. I'll write it here. When you want to make the reduced form of this pattern, use wasn't as crowded as. Your apostrophe comes right here. To reduce this, was not becomes wasn't. Your apostrophe is here between N and T. All right. Yarela says, is cheaper. Is that the same as less expensive? Yeah. So you can choose whichever you prefer. So I could say my phone bill this month was cheaper or is cheaper than my phone bill last month. Or I could say less expensive. It's up to you. Both are correct. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm very late. I have to finish there. Okay, so we have to finish there for today. Awesome. Thanks for your great questions and your good example sentences. I'll show you today's lesson boards again so that you can take a picture if you would like to. Boop. Okay, so this is what we talked about today. We talked about nouns, short adjectives, and long adjectives. Again, I'm going to put a link in the description, the YouTube description. If you're watching on Facebook, please check the YouTube description. I'll put a link to countable and uncountable noun videos and some of my videos about making adjective comparisons so that you can practice and review and make your sentences perfect. That would be super cool. Also, I'll be back next week, of course. Next week, next lesson, November 18th, we are going to talk about expressing emotion. So actually, you will probably be able to use today's grammar in next week's lesson. So please join me next week to practice expressing emotions, expressing feelings, how to do that. We'll cover some vocabulary and some patterns that you can use to talk about that. So I hope it's good. Okay, I will say goodbye then, so please make sure to grab the free stuff if you have not already. Also, thank you very much for liking this video and for sharing this video and for sending your awesome questions and comments. That's super cool, as always. I will say goodbye for this week, so enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy